Hello. Have you ever wondered why somebody would want to take on a huge task like writing a book? Well, I'm going to tell you. My name is Brona Mills, and I am a sci-fi author, and I write books on time travel, strong female characters, and a little bit of action and adventure. What I want to start with is today I am so bored and fed up of doing the admin work, of starting a new college course, of trying to learn digital marketing, of trying to do all these other things that self-published authors need to be experts at to actually get their books out there. So I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I decided that I was going to record my first podcast or YouTube video or TikTok video. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? All these people are out there and they are making videos, putting on their makeup. And I thought it was a little bit strange the first time I seen it, but well, do you know what? I might as well multitask. So I'm going to put on this makeup and I'm going to talk to you about how I started my author journey. So I'm going to go all the way back to high school, where I really struggled with English as a subject. It wasn't until after I failed my English exam and I managed to get into college that I found out I was dyslexic. And while this was a great relief that I didn't need to feel like I just couldn't do it, that there was a reason behind while I was struggling in some concepts of the English language, even though I loved English as a subject and as storytelling, I just couldn't manage to do the academic work that was needed. So fast forward, I finished my degree, blah, 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 did all that stuff in your 20s. And when I had my first child, I was 27, 28. And the concept of writing a book popped into my head. I said, I'd love to write a book. I'd love to have something tangible to hold in my hands so that I could say, I did this, I achieved this. This is something that I managed to do, despite not having access to the additional support needs that I needed at school. I could still do this. I could still pass this subject or this exam in a way. And I did think for 2 seconds about maybe taking a high school English course and doing the exam just so that I could pass it. And then I thought that was a little bit crazy because I had a baby. So I thought, do you know what would be easier? I could write a book. And I had no idea how big a task that would be, or how big the learning curve would be as well, because it's not as simple as just having this story that you want to tell and have these characters inside your head that you want to let out and speak to. There's a craft that had to be built. There was a learning curve that had to be passed as well. So I did try, and I remember I wrote about half a page of an absolute terrible story that would never see the light of day, and I bored myself with it. So I thought, well, no way is anyone going to read it if it's that boring for me. So I put it aside, and I never thought anything of it until 2 years later, I had my second child. Now, by this point, I was running a local franchise. I had a 2-year-old and I had a newborn baby. And this idea of writing a book never, ever left me. I still wanted to do this task for me. And anybody that has kids or young kids know sometimes we can just get totally lost in being a mammy, being a housewife, looking after the kids, looking after the house, doing all the kind of at-home work, and we forget about ourselves. So this was something that I really wanted to do. So I took myself down to the local library. I checked out all the how-to books, how to write a novel, how to publish, how to make a great story, how to actually write in English, all the stuff that I could never pass. As a teenager in high school, really needed that extra help and support and defining. So I spent about 6 months working on all that stuff, and I found a site which I absolutely love called scribophile.com. It is a free site for anybody that wants to put the writing up there. Be willing to get help and support and critique from other amateur authors, or published authors are on there too, where you can help and support people. It's a free site. I'm not affiliated with them. I just absolutely loved it because it worked on a karma system. And as soon as I seen that karma system, I thought, oh my God, this is the place that I want to be. You have to help and support other people to be able to get help and support on your own projects. And the support that you give other people was a great learning curve as well, because it's sometimes easier to spot mistakes or things that you don't like in other people's work and be able to communicate that in a lovely, friendly, helpful way, and get that help and support back and bring that learning into your own work as well. The things that you would normally tell other people to change, you can start seeing in your own work as well. So I say by this point, I started in 2012 when my second child was born, and my book was not published until 2017. So it took me about 5 years. There was a few things that happened personally in there as well that I took a little break from as well. But I really wanted to write the best story possible, to keep going back over it, to keep double checking all the English things, to make sure that it was right. I had put it through some friends who did editing. Then I saved up money to get a paid for editor because I knew that this was the area that I was really going to struggle in. I really wanted to make sure that if somebody was ever going to buy this, then it was a professional piece of work, that somebody had corrected all of my punctuation, all of my grammar mistakes, all of the things that, despite all the learning I have done, I just cannot get right. I actually put it through 2 editors 3 times. I thought it was 3 editors, but it wasn't. 2 editors 3 times to catch everything after the years of workshopping it as well. And I came up with, I do love it, this, The Accidental Time Traveler. I am obsessed with time travel stories. I am obsessed with sci-fi, and also romance. I love romance books. I love kissing books. I got obsessed with the romance industry because it was the first genre that really spoke to me, that I could really read and enjoy reading as well. So there is a little bit of romance in there, along with some really, I think, complex sci-fi time travel plots. Things as well that make you think. Think about life. Think about the choices that you've had in life. Think about the time travel implications. If you could go back and speak to yourself in the past, what advice would you give yourself? Even if you've had made mistakes, would you really want to change them? Or more importantly, like Michael has in this book, would you allow someone else to make changes in your life? Because that is, you know what I was saying? Yes, Michael in the book ended up having to trust somebody from his future that he never knew before, to actually see if she could guide him on the path that he was meant to be in as well. So that is it. I did the learning part. I did the writing part. I did the self-publishing part. I did the cover. I hired the editors. I got it formatted. I made a paperback book. I put it onto Amazon in 2017. And we're here 6 years later, still waiting to be discovered, still waiting for people to read that book and go, that is a great story. That is absolutely my dream in life.